Well, Utah is flooding. The one bright side about it flooding is there are a lot of cool areas right now to go out and find carp. This is a farmer's field right here. There's probably 200 carp up against this fence. There's normally cattle running in this field. So anyway, completely new area that I've never been able to fish before. We just have a lot of flooded areas, and those areas hold a lot of carp. So let me jump into it. I was using my Sage Maverick, my 7 weight. I wish I had my 8 or my 9. Cortland Big Fly, 12 feet of 1X tapered leader, 4 feet of fluoro, 10-pound fluoro. And then I was primarily using an unweighted carp maul, I call it blind maul, for these fish. So this one was feeding right up against the bank where I spotted it. As I moved in close to it, he moved out into the center of this ditch. It's all flooded, so it's not really a ditch right now. So the whole field to the right of this fish is flooded. But normally it's just a little ditch. So cast past him to do a traditional drag and drop, right? Good angle right here. Probably put it a little too straight in front of him. Man, that's something I do a lot. It was hard to tell exactly when he ate, but I don't know, there's kind of an instinct to it when you see him tip a little bit. There was a little bit of body movement there to tell me he'd eaten it. So I set the hook and we're on, and this is a huge fish. There was a lot of big fish here, but this was a great big fish. Yeah, so this is a fantastic fish. One of the better ones that I've caught so far this year. Came in at over 20 pounds. So this fish was really interesting. I'd spotted it a long ways away on the other side of a flooded area, and I walked all the way around to it, and I swear right when I got there, it had been feeding towards where I'm standing there. It turns around and it starts feeding the other direction. I thought about waiting to see if it would come back. I actually followed it down that little ridge that you can see that I'm on there for quite a while, and finally was like, all right, I'm going to take a shot. It's not a great angle, you know, fish moving away from me past 90 degrees, but dragged and dropped it in there. He ate it, and you know, another good fish. I love when I can spot them from a long ways away and get on them. You know, the anticipation of that. I don't know, it's just, I love these fish. So this is another one on that ditch. You know, I said there's kind of a ditch by a little canal that runs by it. This is kind of a deeper area they were dropping in and out of. You see him moving through just his back. This is pretty dirty water. You can see the little drag and drop right there. I probably put that a little bit too close to him on my first cast, but because I was using a unweighted fly, I got away with it. Dropped it down in front of him, and then he immediately ate it. And yeah, this is another fantastic fish. This one actually ends up going over 36 inches long. The state record for Utah is 38.5. I'm about 2 inches short of that with this one. Not the heaviest. Well, it was over 20 pounds, but for a 36-inch fish, it didn't have like a real big body. But anyway, still a cool fish. And even though it's really dirty, it's still cool shot, and seeing its back dropping in on him. And yeah, just said this area never been able to fish before. I mean, like I said, there is a ditch there normally, but there's no carp in it. But this year with all the flooding that's going on, these carp are finding some cool places. And I was super surprised at the size of the fish here. Yeah, so that was, I mean, it's not a small fish. It's still healthy, over 36 inches long. It's hard to tell though, because the body isn't as big as like a, you know, sometimes you catch like a 32 incher that goes over 20 pounds because the body's so big. That one didn't have it. That one actually came in at 23 pounds, but it didn't have the huge body. All right, so this is a little creek normally. Like, there's no way water, like carp, once in a while they'll spawn up into this because there's a little bit of water that comes into it, but it's nothing like what you can see here. So again, just cool that these areas with the flooding, I've never seen carp in these areas before. Drag and drop, connected with this fish. And again, another big fish. I was just so incredibly impressed with the size of the fish that have been moving up into these flooded areas. It's just been crazy. So that fish probably was pretty close to 20. But as I was trying to get a picture of him, he ends up busting my fly off, and I didn't get a picture. I didn't get anything as I was trying to get set up for him right there. Didn't have my net on me. Should have had my net, and I kind of paid for it there. So this one right here, I had just seen a little bit of nervous water by this sagebrush that's flooded in front of me. Went and positioned myself by it until I saw the fish moving in. Quick drag and drop. And this was by far the smallest fish of the trip, but still fun. I mean, I don't know. A 7-8 pound carp, still an incredibly fun fish to catch on a fly rod. So for this fish, I was actually kind of out in the middle of the field, and I'm just kind of slowly moving, looking for nervous water. I actually was looking out to the right of me, and then I spotted these guys, which is why I don't have an actual good shot on the drone of the connection, because right as he got out of the screen there, it happened so fast. And I actually had the drone positioned for some other fish. And he snuck out of the screen. But another great fish, took me on a couple of really great, good screaming runs. This is one of those that you saw the fish. I had to make a cast within a couple of seconds. If you saw they were moving away from me there, I mean, they were going to be gone past me out of this field area over into the deep ditch. And this was so muddy. You just had these little tiny opportunities where you see the fish. So that was one where I just had to get it on them really fast. And again, great fish, just under 20 pounds, 32 inches, just a great fish. So this is another one that I'd spotted on the far side of part of this flooded area in the field, and I actually walked all the way out and around it to position myself. It was pretty deep up above where he's at right there. So anyway, I circled around on him, got in position, drag and drop. And this is a smaller fish too, a little mirror, not very healthy. Not sure why it was so unhealthy in here, but even a fairly sickly mirror, I mean, they're still incredible fish. So this is another really good fish, but what I want to point out to you here is watch on this drag and drop where I drop the fly in at. This is what I'm saying about not putting it straight in front of them. If you can drop it to just the side of the face right here, you see that where he actually turned. I mean, that's really obvious. And also, if they turn to the side like that when they eat the fly, your angle on the hook set is so much better. Again, I end up putting it right in front of them all the time, and it gets hard, right? As you're dragging the fly and then you drop it. But if you can, put it to the side a little bit. And honestly, like right to the side of that eyeball is the best place to drop it in at. I mean, they see out sideways. That's their monocular vision, right? Each eye is seeing out to the side of the face. If you can drop that fly down right in front of that eye, within a couple inches to the side of the face, a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to lead them. Don't do that. Just drop it to the side. That's your best bet. That's the video. Thanks, everybody.